Alright guys, so this is the F1 2015 modded career mode, part number 6. This is it, the Monaco Grand Prix, our best chance so far this season to get a race win. So far, we actually haven't won a race yet, which is pretty outstanding, I must say, for a career mode championship, because normally we'd have, you know, 1 or 2 wins, possibly, if we're lucky, but yeah, I think our best result so far is like a second or a third, something like that, but either way, here we are for Monaco. We qualified in 9th place in a rain-affected session, so it could have been a lot worse, but yeah, but in saying that, at least it's not last place like it's been for the last few Grand Prix. But here we go, ready for the race, the Monaco Grand Prix. Hopefully, a race win awaits at the end of this one. We're going to need it too, because Rosberg has like a 20-point lead in the championship, and we're like down in 6th. But either way, 5 red lights and away we go here in Monaco. Hamilton going sideways a little bit off the start, but it's a fairly decent one for him though. Coming into turn 1 though, we go around the outside of our teammate there, and Hamilton almost turns into the escape road there. But anyway, up in a P8 now as we battle with Daniel Ricciardo, our teammate once again. It was very tight going up through the top of the hill, and now we're into P6. Next up is Carlos Sainz Jr., one of the championship contenders this year, somehow out of nowhere with the Equal Cars mod. But anyway, going through Mirabeau for the first time of 78 laps, and we go through once again. We can see Carlos Sainz Jr. still right in front of us at the moment. It's been a fairly calm start, I must say, as we got the inside of Sainz, and that's us up in a P5. I had to turn down the realistic damage mod a little bit, just so that all the a lot of cars would finish, because we've seen in previous seasons that, you know, if you have the realistic damage on too high, then literally 5 cars finish. But either way, we go around the outside of Hulkenberg there on the second lap, and now we're into P4. Next up is Fernando Alonso, and it looks like we've got a lot of pace at the start of this Grand Prix. We can see Alonso going a little bit slowly in comparison to us, so looks like we have a lot of speed at the early phase of this race. Going up the inside into Raskas, and we're now into the podium positions here in Monaco. Very good start. We can see we're -7 laps down on fuel. So the Red Bull mechanics, the engineers, and the whole strategy group has decided that a lighter car is the way to go. And maybe that's why we have a lot of pace early on in this Grand Prix. But anyway, we're going to have to save a lot of fuel as this race goes on. But I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue, to be honest, because I do use lean revs through most of the track just to look after the rear tyres. So I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. But anyway, lap 6, we can see we're all over the back of Valtteri Bottas. He goes defensive as we come into Mirabeau, but we pass him up the inside, going purple to the first sector intermediate anyway as well. But anyway, lap 10, we've now caught up to the back of Sebastian Vettel. It's halfway through our first stint here, and our tyres starting to go off a little bit. You can see the oversteer starting to creep into it a little bit, as you can see the replay here, chasing down Vettel. Look at how much road we're using on the approach to the second sector now, trying to find that fine balance between, you know, controlled aggression and putting it in the walls. You've really got to make Monaco as wide as you can if you want to make up the lap time. As you can see, coming into Tabac once again, using up all the space on entry and on exit, trying to catch Vettel without trying to, you know, use up the tyres too much, because this is really a rear dependent track, and as soon as the tyres start to go off, like the rears overheat or anything, then you're absolutely gone here at Monaco. But either way, lap 22, we're coming in for a set of primes now, and our tyres for the last 3 or 4 laps, they've not been the best. They've actually been slower than Vettel, and I was actually lucky in a way to keep the tyres going until this point, as we get a 3.7 second pit stop there, and not really making any inroads on Vettel in the pit stop phase either. So rejoining on the track, we've got Bottas, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo and company behind us, but they haven't stopped yet. They'll be stopping on the next lap. So we rejoin in front of those guys. There's a massive gap between us and the rest of the field at the moment. It's something like 12 or 13 seconds, something crazy like that. But either way, lap 24 now, we've caught up to the back of Vettel, who seems to be a little bit slower than us on new tyres. It seems like when we've got fresh tyres, we are the fastest car in the field. As you can see, Vettel getting oversteer of the exit of the final chicane, and now he's going very defensive into Raskas. Surely this is our best chance of the entire race to get the lead here. And we got DRS on the front straight, but no, it doesn't really work out, does it? It seems our exit coming off the final corner is a little bit sloppy every time. The AI very good coming out of there, so we really need to maximize our final corner and first corner as well to sort of have an attack at Vettel. There's two overtaking spots we can get him at. One is at the Lowe's hairpin and the other is at Rascasse. So it looks like we're closer to Vettel than we've ever been before coming into this crucial passing zone, and we've got him into the Lowe's hairpin and into the lead on lap 26. And now for the rest of the stint, we're trying to push as much as we can. As you can see, getting right up against the walls. You've really got to make Monaco as wide as you can if you want to make up that lap time. As you can see, they're absolutely fantastic. I love it when you get right up against the walls, especially with the realistic damage mod. It really has you on the edge of your seat for the entire 2 hours of this race. But either way, lap 47, some lap traffic getting in the way as they make their final pit stops. A lot of cars actually going for options as their race strategy and then putting primes on at the end. But myself and Vettel, it feels like us two are the only ones who went primes through the middle part of this race. And now there's sort of a cluster of cars who have just made their stops and they're kind of getting in the way now. So interesting strategies at play as we lap Kimi Räikkönen, the teammate of Vettel, who was getting lapped by his teammate. So the Ferrari boys, I'd imagine, wouldn't be too happy about Kimi's performances at the moment, but Vettel looking very racy at this phase of the Grand Prix.
Looking at the radar, looks like we might have light rain in about 15 minutes.
Okay, so light rain coming in 15 minutes, so I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here and go straight onto option tyres at the end of this lap. I feel like if I go into options now, this new set of tyres could see me out until the rain comes down. It's either going to make or break this race, because if it doesn't rain, then I'm going to be left hung out to dry until the end of the race on dead tyres. Or it could play the other way and I get a massive undercut on Vettel by about 5 laps and have a big lead. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out as Vettel, I think, has pitted. Has he? On lap 55? No, he hasn't. We're pushing on for another lap here. I think this will be our fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So I'll just leave you guys to enjoy this. A hot lap here of Monaco.
We think there's a chance of light rain in 15 minutes time. 15 minutes.
So as we come to the end of the lap here, we can see we're 1.8 seconds up on our previous lap time. So we're on target to absolutely smash it at the moment. I believe Vettel has just come into the pits, and now we are into the lead of the Grand Prix, going purple in the process. This strategy call has been an absolute blessing so far. We have the lead by about 7 or 8 seconds. Such is the power of the undercut at Monaco. But anyway, we're now lapping a Toro Rosso and a Williams there on lap 58, and now Jenson Button getting in the way. So very interesting phase of the Grand Prix as Jenson parking the bus on the apex of the final corner there, holding us up by about a second there. And now Felipe Massa is trying to overtake us on the start-finish straight here. So very interesting times here, very interesting behavior from the AI there. But now lap 69, only 9 laps left to go in this race, and now it's raining. I think at the end of this lap we might be coming in for a set of inters. I've been holding off this call because I've made a few bad strategy calls in the past, more specifically Spain, where I came in too early for inters. I'm not going to make the same mistake today because we have a massive lead. We can afford to lose a little bit of time and play it safe. So onto the intermediate tyres for what should be our final stop in this race. Hopefully it can take us to the very end, and hopefully it doesn't get any more wet than what it is at the moment, and it hasn't. Final lap now, lap number 78. We've maintained the lead over Sebastian Vettel. We can see he's about 12 seconds back at the moment, so we've absolutely dominated this race in the dry and in the wet. They just couldn't stop us today, even from starting from 9th place on the grid. But as we come out of the final corner now, this will be our first race win of the season, and what a better place to get it. Well, there we go, chaps. We have won the Monaco Grand Prix and taken our first race win of the season in the process. I don't know what it is about this race, but for whatever reason, this one feels like one of my best wins. I don't know, we are driving a Red Bull, but for whatever reason, I think with the mod, I just feel like this Red Bull is a little bit slower than what the base Red Bull 2014 car is. I don't know, it might just be me, but I don't know. I just felt like this is a really, really good win. But at the end of the day, we've come out in 3rd place in the driver's standings. Carlos Sainz Jr. moves back into the lead after Nico Rosberg failed to finish that race. I believe he finished 19th, I think. Not too sure about that. But Lewis Hamilton down in 18th place in the standings and on 10 points. That is a headline in itself. Another headline, Infinity Red Bull Racing now leads the not the drivers, but the Constructors' Championship now. So, looking very good for the Renault boys, having Toro Rosso in 2nd place as well. Really enjoying this season so far. Hope you guys are too. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until my next video, guys, I'll see you next time.